I don't take days off, do I? When my number is called, I don't take plays off, do I? I'ma always give you 20 and 10, no matter how much you wanna pretend that I ain't clutch with it. I don't do the load management, maybe I can handle it. When the heat is on, I can manage it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Others Receiving Votes podcast, sponsored by M-Glow. Market, Connect, Play. I'm your host, Loren Woods, a.k.a. Big Low. Find me on social media at Mr. Loren Woods, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything, pretty much. And welcome to the Friday Inferno, where I just pretty much get to talk shit about anything I want. And I've been thinking a lot over the last few days. We've had some great guests on the podcast, and we're going to continue to have great guests on here talking about all of the ins and outs of playing basketball overseas and what you need to watch out for and be aware of and everything. And somebody I was talking to somebody the other day about perspective, and I've been thinking about it a lot because I know I had a guest on the show. I want to say it was probably Joe Vogel, or it might be one of the upcoming guests that I talked to, and I was talking about how when I was younger, my perspective on situations was kind of always measured by how successful I was or how successful I thought I was. And I remember on an earlier podcast, I was talking about it's not where you start, but it's not how you start, but it's how you finish. And was talking about Dirk Nowitzki and how he started in second division Germany, and then he ended up being an NBA Hall of Famer. And I remember when I was in high school, I wanted to be an All-American. And I just had to be a McDonald's All-American, All-State, All-City, State Player of the Year, all of that. And, I strive for that. And I actually got that. I was fortunate enough to get most of the accolades that I wanted in high school. And then I got to college, and my whole focus in college was win a national championship. Be an All-American, win a national championship. And I fell short of the national championship goal. Came down to the last game. Lost in the championship. Sucked, but played a great team. Played on a great team and played a great team. So I wasn't too upset later on in my life. But at that time, I thought it was the end of the world because I didn't reach one of my goals. And I never really stopped to think that so many players don't win a championship, period. At all on any level, and they're still great players, but that's what I used as a measurement. And then, after that it was, okay, well, I have to be a lottery pick in the NBA or a first round draft pick or whatever. And I ended up being a second round pick and, not having that first round guarantee. And then I thought that I was less than a player because I didn't get what I thought that I deserved at that time. So, my perspective even going into the NBA was just, and about myself and my career up until that point, wasn't great. And it's so many players, that have amazing careers and don't have like all of the accolades that are all of the accomplishments and achievements that they think that they should have. And what we do is we use everybody else's measurements as a way to determine how good we are in life, and when it's funny because I got drafted. And, I was pissed because I was like, man, I was a second round pick, man. I could have been a first round pick. I mean, I was as good as anybody in the first round, blah, 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 all the nonsense. And I still made it. Like I had still accomplished my goal of making it to the NBA. And it's so ridiculous because now I hear tons of other people talking about, young people especially talking about, oh, they didn't make something or they didn't get something or they don't have, the same chances or whatever. as the next man or the next person or the next woman or whatever. And it's just so ridiculous to me right now. I remember a story off the top of my head. Me and my boy Sleed, we were talking. I was in the NBA at this time. I was probably 4 years in, and he 4 or 5 years in. I was a legitimate NBA veteran at this time, and my boy was a lawyer. He had been a lawyer for for a couple of years, I think, at that time, maybe 2 or 3 years or whatever. And we were just sitting on the couch, playing video games and just bitching about our jobs, like. He's talking about, I got to work so many hours and this shit sucks and it's the work is just it's not worth it and all that. And I'm like, yo, bro, but you're a lawyer though. Like, how many lawyers are there? How many people are that smart where they can even be a lawyer or whatever? But just look at me, man. Like I'm just as good as this guy, and I can't even play. I can't even get in the game, man. And he's looking at me like with the straight face, like, dude, you're in the NBA. Like, shut the hell up and go to practice, collect those checks, and eventually it's gonna happen. But now I laugh about it because we talked about that, me and him, a couple of years ago, and we were just like, yo, if we were just look back on it, how fortunate and blessed we were just to even get the opportunity to be where we were. And if we would have had a different attitude, we'd be in totally different places right now. And as I digress actually as I tell that story, but I'm going back to the NBA. I played 6 years, 6-7 years in the NBA. In the NBA, where it's not many people, like a very, very small population in the world, reached the highest level of their career. Very, very small percentage. And I was fortunate enough to be one of the best 400 players at that time in the world. If we're considering the NBA as the best league, but at that time. And I had a shitty attitude. It was terrible. Everything. It wasn't even about basketball anymore. It was kind of like, I didn't reach the goals that I thought that I had set for myself. So I wasn't good enough. So it just became about, instead of me trying to prove myself at that next level, I just had a shitty attitude. It wasn't even about basketball no more. It was just about, women and material things and, money, cars, jewelry, shoes, you name it, whatever. I had all the vices, alcohol, drugs, anything, whatever you name, I went through it all. And, like that attitude right there pretty much got me booted out. It got me kicked out. And I didn't have major problems, but I had some problems, and people don't want to deal with that. It's you got to be a very exceptional player for NBA teams to want to deal with ridiculousness like that. And I wasn't that exceptional, to be honest with you, because I wasn't even working on my game that much at that time. I was just kind of like coasting from all the work I had done before that. But and that led me to my career overseas. So I remember going overseas the first time, and I'm walking in the gym, actually just getting off first of all, I'm looking out the plane window as I'm on the flight and just looking like, man, where the hell am I at? I was in Lithuania. I remember Kaunas, Lithuania. Shout out to BC Žalgiris, man. That was the first place that I played overseas. Much love. But when I first, got there, I'm looking out the window like, man, what is this? It looked like a ghetto, but it was all white people. So I was confused. I hadn't seen anything like that before in my life. And and it's a great place. Don't get me wrong. But this is just like some of the first things that I saw when I pulled up in the city. And I'm just looking, like, man, I don't belong here. I belong in the league. I'm one of the best, blah, 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 whatever. And now, mind you, I had just got cut from Sacramento, which was not like, they wasn't the best team in the league at that time. That wasn't like the Sacramento that had like C. Webb and like Mike Bibby and, Stojakovic and Turkoglu and Doug Christie. That wasn't them. It was a different Sacramento. Like they wasn't winning that many games. So, I got cut from that team. And I remember I got to Lithuania and I had that same attitude. And I remember my veterans on the team at that time, Tanaka Beard and DeJuan Collins, they sat me down. We had dinner. They sat me down and say, listen here, man, like I don't know where you think you're supposed to be at, but that attitude, you will not be in Europe very long. Your career will be over before it even starts. And I remember having that conversation and just kind of looking at it like, like I gotta change my perspective, because I was already embarrassed at myself because I got cut in the NBA. And I'm thinking like, man, if I get cut from over here, like it's a wrap. It is a wrap-ski for sure. So like my perspective changed. It wasn't instant. Don't get me wrong. I can't sit here and say like, oh yeah, I had this epiphany and it was the next day it was the best. Like that's when my life started. No, it's not like that. That is not how like nothing worked out in my life. It always takes me a little bit of time because I'm hard-headed and stubborn and shit like that. But my perspective slowly shifted. And then for the first time in a long time, it became about basketball again. I played great the rest of the year there, finished out the year winning a championship. The next year I signed a deal in Turkey. And even though I didn't even finish out that season, I made more in 7 months than I did the first 2 years that I played in the NBA. And then after I left that team, I was only there for 7 months. I left that team and then I got signed back in the NBA. So it like came full circle. I was like right back in the NBA. But from there on, I was looking at all of my situations as like blessings and, like I'm fortunate to be here and I love to be, it doesn't matter what situation it is. I'm gonna make the best of it, and that's how it was for the remainder of my career in the NBA and overseas. And then I was fortunate enough to play until I was 39 overseas, and it wasn't easy. I had to change my lifestyle up significantly, but I did make it that far, and was blessed to not have any major injuries and be in very, very good situations. This is my point. It's never really too late to change your perspective, ever. And I know a lot of young people are thinking, well, I got time. I can wait till I'm 25, or I can wait till I'm 20, or if you're 20 or 25, I can wait till I'm 30. That's when, and nah, I mean, you take it from me. You don't want to wait 6 or 7 years into your career to start to change it and have that positive outlook and that positive perspective on every situation that you're in. I mean, if you just starting out in college or in high school, that's actually the best time. Right now, from this day forward, say, listen, I'm gonna start making the best of all these situations. And I guarantee you're gonna be rewarded throughout the rest of your life. It always brings me back to that saying, old proverb or old saying, Chinese saying, or wherever it came from. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Stay fortunate and stay blessed, y'all.
I don't take days off, do I? When my number is called, I don't take plays off, do I? I'ma always give you 20 and 10, no matter how much you wanna pretend that I ain't clutch with it. I don't do the load management, maybe I can handle it. When the heat is on, I can manage it. I'm kinda like James Harden's career, I can walk whenever I feel, and that's facts.